see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining in.
Mike was muted. Excuse me. I was just sitting back here and excuse me. Good morning, everyone. I'm Brian, and today is Saturday, May 7th, 2022, and this is episode 101 of the Lots Project podcast, and it's titled Coffee with Brian, featuring Brian Wells of the Homestead Journey podcast. And unfortunately, I don't know what's going on, but Brian is not around. And I haven't seen him or heard from him, so I just kind of went live. We'll go here for a little while and bullshit and see if he pops on. If he does not, I have a couple of messages sent out to a couple people and see if they want to jump on and bullshit this Saturday morning. Since I already made my coffee and I'm already sitting here and the broadcast was set up, I thought I would just go live and make the most of it. So, hey, Coffee with Brian. I'm having my coffee here. I got my stainless steel French press. I use my manual grinder. They happen to be the two items of the week. They are our links in the video description below. And let me see, I got my comments over here. Oh, Michael, is that my music in the intro? No, that is actually Greg Arcade. He's a Canadian country music singer. Let me see. I think I might have somebody coming on. Greg Arcade is a Canadian country music singer. I had him on interviewed a couple of weeks ago. So check out that interview. He allowed me to use that for my intro. It's called I Can See, and that is on his newest album. If you want to check him out, it's at gregarcade.com, I believe. Good morning, Martinson family. Good morning, Michael. I forgot to say good morning. How are we doing this morning? We were going to have a coffee with Brian Wells of the Homesteading Journey podcast, and he didn't make it. So I'm just kind of freestyling it here for a second. I have somebody I think that's going to come on and join me and just kind of bullshit for a little while. And here he is to the rescue. Hey man, how's it going?
Good. My old nut just literally rolled out of bed and I was doing paperwork and Brian's like, hey, you want to come on? I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? I can help you out. How are you, bud?
Oh, not bad. Not bad. I don't know. He said he had some stuff going on this morning. My interview had some stuff going on. He was going to have to be mobile. Maybe he doesn't have signal or anything. I checked Discord where I've been talking to him. I didn't see a message, so I hope everything's okay. But I had everything set up, and I thought I'd go. And there you were. I saw you had your little green light on Telegram. I was like, hey, he's up. He's awake. I know it's early. He's probably got coffee already, so I didn't have to probably do anything about that. How's the coffee stuff going for you?
Good. It came to an absolute halt while I was on vacation. So it I had you know how you push and you push and you push and you think you've got everything in a line, you're ready to go. And then there's one little hiccup or whatever. Anyway, so the company I'm dealing with out of Ontario, they take care of all the back end stuff. So they set up the shopping cart, the website, the whole works. It's great. So I was just getting ready to go on vacation and I sent her the final message. She's like, yeah, we'll take care of it all. Well, I can't remember the specifics, but you know what tech's like. And there was 3 or 4 little things that she couldn't do. And she's like, do you want to get on a Zoom meeting with me? I'm like, you know what? I'm on vacation for the next 2 weeks. Literally nothing is happening with it. I will deal with it when I get back. Oh yeah, no problem. So first of next week, I'm going to it will be finally launched. Like the website is up. It's there. You can actually see it. It's just in the final step when you go to shop the shopping cart and put your info in. Because Chris Dixon tried to make a sale. He's like, I want to be your first sale. I'm like, I'll let you know. Don't worry. It's just,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, last week. So I fired off my Comfrey sale a few weeks ago. Well, a month ago. And way before, it was like pre-order because I didn't know when I was going to be able to dig the first time because things were thawing out, things were getting there, and but it was wet as shit here, and I wasn't getting any crown sprouts, and so I had all these orders, and I wanted to get them out because nobody lives in a climate like this, so they're already like well into planting time, and I'm like, I want to get them as much of a season as I can, and so I went out and I had some some plants that were on higher ground and some different soil that drained real well. So there was plenty to cut and do, but I was looking at my whole patch and I'm like, holy shit, I better shut this stuff down. But I didn't. And we had like 50, 60, 70-degree day here for a few days and it didn't rain and the sun came out. And Corey and I took a walk this morning and walked out to the patch and holy shit, I need some orders.
Okay, so I literally know zero about comfrey. Can you tell me about it? You guys all talk about it, but of course, I live in a town, and it's one thing we never touch. So
So I heard about it on Jack's show quite a while ago, and he was doing propagating it, and I was like, well, that seemed pretty stupid simple. Maybe I should look into this plant. And then he did another episode rather soon after or before about the benefits of it. I think it might have been the benefits of it and then how to propagate it. But it's like a medicinal plant that obviously the government doesn't like because it's like a miracle plant. It'll heal up cuts real quick, and it's like anti-inflammatory, all sorts of stuff from the oils in it. So they did a study, how government kind of goes, does a study to prove it's bad for you. So I think they fed lab mice. It was something the equivalent of 27 bushels for a human a day for a month or a year or some stupid. It was, I read the study way back when I was researching it. I don't even remember the numbers because they were so ridiculous that you would get liver damage.
Oh, of course you would.
Well, no fucking shit, man. Like, come on.
If you take a bottle of aspirin every day, you'll get liver damage too.
You take a bottle of aspirin every day, you probably won't see tomorrow.
That's true, yeah.
But anyway, so you can't advise people to ingest it, but people make tea out of the leaves. We made salves. So what we did was took the leaves and infused the leaves into oil. Okay. And then made salves with the oil. And sold those, put essential oils into it. And that was great for like mosquito bites. Like you got a mosquito bite, you put a dab of this on it, it just go away. It wouldn't necessarily just take the itch away. Like the whole bug bite would just kind of go away. Wow. And it was pretty sweet stuff. And then, like on cuts and scrapes, you can't do it on a big deep cut because it'll actually heal it together too fast and it'll heal the shit together in it. Really? Yeah, it's old. It's like a legend name or a pseudonym was Knit Bone because it promotes like bone growth. It promotes all sorts of healing. But that's just for our use. It also is great animal fodder. They love the leaves, and it grows super fast. So you cut it. And literally in a few weeks, you can harvest it again. And you cut it down to 2 inches above the ground or an inch above the ground. And you're like, oh my God, I just killed my plant. And in 3 weeks, you got leaves for days coming back. And then so you can feed that to your rabbits. I mean, you've got to worry about the liver damage or the liver buildup in the toxins in the liver if you're going to eat the liver of the rabbit. So we would ration it to them. Okay. But you can also dry it and feed it to them later as a supplement because it's super high protein. It's super healthy for them other than the toxin buildup in their liver. But yeah, it's just fantastic. It's super high protein. They love the taste. Chickens love it, but they don't really get into it on the plant. Like I haven't had my chickens go in and destroy it. We also have our field that we started a row for us. And then I was like, dicking around with propagating and this and that. And we got ours from Coe's Comfrey, which is out in North Carolina. It's who Jack recommended. And he's just on back order, like always on back order.
And it grows that fast and he's still on back order.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And so I was like, all right, well, I could take 5 years to propagate. I think we started with 20 plants in a row every 3 feet or whatever, 60-foot bed or 80-foot bed or something. I don't remember what it was, but we started with that, and I started propagating. I started selling a little bit. We started making the salves. We sold a lot of salve. It's just something that we can't do anymore because we can't take it on the road with us. But yeah, I messed around with propagating, and I was like looking, going, okay, well, if I do X amount of plants every year, because if you do a root cutting, it's really like 2 years before you're going to want to start harvesting. You let it kind of establish for a season, and then the next year you can kind of baby it. I mean, you can. I was trying to do it for the longevity of the plant. So like I would let it go probably longer than I needed to. But in that second season, towards the end of the season, you can start just harvesting like crazy. You can start digging it. I actually dug a lot of my propagation plants twice last year. Like I dug them, the ones in the beginning of the year, I went through all the plants and then started digging again in the fall, and they had grown enough that I could harvest more off them in a season.
So is it like it sounds like it's a bit like rhubarb, is it? Have you ever grown rhubarb?
Yeah, we started rhubarb from seed here.
I've never heard of that. Yeah, because I mean
nobody has.
Like, and it worked.
I saw rhubarb seeds, and I'm like, we had rhubarb was big where I grew up. It was big here.
Me too. Yeah.
So I was like, I don't think I've ever. Everybody always just splits it. I don't know. I don't know
about
this.
Just chop up the root ball and
Yeah, I kind of looked it up, and it's like it's very hard to start for seed and this and that. And there isn't a great germination rate, not a great survivable rate. So we were like, we're ordering our seeds. What the fuck? Let's just order some rhubarb seeds. And we did. And we started, I don't know, like 50. And I think we got 3. But
whatever.
We got 3. And then the next season we were able to split the 1 into 4. And that's all we wanted because we were doing them in 4x8 raised beds. And so we did 2 per raised bed. And they fill the half of the raised bed now. They're 8 years old. They're unbelievable plants. Like we could have more rhubarb than we could eat and sell, I imagine, if we kept them from bolting. Like
rhubarb's funny too, because like I grew it on the East Coast. We ate it, we grew it. Everybody grew it, but I don't know. It's funny. It's like everybody swears they love it, and I don't know if anybody really, really likes it that much. Like it's good, like we used to eat rhubarb.
What was that? Honey, Corey? Was that honey and rhubarb we did with the frozen chunks, and then we thawed them out and ate them with honey? Yeah, that was freaking good. So we would process it. We would harvest it and then cut it into like 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch slices.
Yeah,
and then freeze it on a cookie sheet on wax paper so they don't stick together, and then bag them. And we would take the little chunks and take them out and let them thaw out, and then put a little honey on them and for a snack. Because we were hardcore paleo keto for quite a while, or paleo really for quite a while. Corey for well over a year before she had some digestive surgery. So that honey or the agave, I think we used at some point. But any of that natural sweetener on the rhubarb chunks. Just bite size enough, because you get them long and then they get like celery, like stringy and all that. But you have them in the little chunks after you freeze them. Natural maple syrup. That was a good one too.
My favorite was strawberry rhubarb. So it would be 1/2 and 1/2. You'd take 1/2 strawberry, 1/2 rhubarb, and you'd stew them on the stove. But most times, where I grew up, it was rare that it always seemed like strawberry and rhubarb were never quite in sync. So it was mainly you'd have 800 pounds of rhubarb. You're like, what do we do with it? So then you'd make a rhubarb crumble, and then you'd chop a bunch up. And Mom and Dad's favorite was just stewed rhubarb. So we'd put it on the stove and you'd cook it down till it got right thick, and you'd add way too much sugar to it. And it was a dessert. You would just literally eat like a bowl of stewed rhubarb with sugar. And I don't mind that, but like, I would never go out of my way to go eat rhubarb, but if I was at a church social, like when I was a kid, and somebody would always bring like rhubarb crumble or rhubarb crisp. Now that I could eat for sure.
You ever have grape pie?
No.
My grandma used to make grape pie, and then my mom made it every so often. But so I grew up in Western New York, is like Finger Lake region. It is like the wine or the grape capital of the East. So you have Napa Valley, and then you have the Finger Lakes region in New York.
And it extends up to the Niagara area, right?
Yep,
Or at least,
yep,
yeah.
yep. Yeah, the grapes there are just this. It's the soil on the slopes of the glacier cut lakes. Something about that, and the climate is
Oh
like
yeah.
perfect. Some really awesome wines come out of there. But my grandma used to tie grapes every year, and every year they'd go in and they'd hand tie them to all the
Oh yeah.
not trellises, whatever they're called. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
she used to tie grapes and then harvest them. Like that's what she did for like spare money, extra money as a job. But there were so many grapes and vineyards in the area. Everybody made this grape pie, and it was.
I don't think I've ever found a pie I didn't like.
Yeah, me
So
neither. Like it's tough. It's tough. Like I had one that when I moved here and I started dating Corey, we'd go up to Thanksgiving and at her grandparents' house, and her grandma, who was like the early 1900s Betty Crocker,
yeah.
prototypical housewife you see in all the old cartoons and shit. She would make this chocolate pecan pie.
Oh,
She passed away like 3 years ago, and no one can make it. Like
she
they
didn't leave the
can try.
okay. Yeah.
It's no good. I mean, it's good. I mean, I eat it, but like it's not Betty's. Holy
Another
shit.
one I liked was peanut butter pie. So when I first got exposed that's to that back when I was working at Dairy Queen, so like about 20 years ago, and we used to go out for I'm sure we've talked about this a bunch, for the 15-cent wings and the 2-for-1 seafood, right? Those days are long gone. And we'd always get dessert, and there was one lady there that made the local pies, and it was peanut butter pie, and all it was basically cream cheese, powdered sugar, and peanut butter. And it would, it looked just like a much harder version of like a chocolate pie or something like that. And I have the recipe somewhere, but I could die for that. And chocolate cream pie. So growing up all my life, there was this, how you always have these restaurants you go to, right? So about 20 minutes from my house, there was this country little community, real tiny, called Weymouth, and they had the county kitchen there. And it was one of those restaurants that would like run for 3 or 4 years in the middle of nowhere. Then it would shut down, reopen from a new, one time it was Chinese, one time it was whatever. Anyway, but for whatever reason, they always kept the chocolate cream pie there. So it was always like
they brought it in from somewhere. Whoever
Yeah.
they were getting their distributor from was bringing that in for them.
Oh my God. And it was so good. But here we are talking about pie, and I'm 4 days in on strict keto again.
You talk about what you're thinking about, right?
Oh yeah. Well, actually,
I haven't had one in a while, so
I'm good for. I mean, you literally saw what. We just ate everything for the last 2 weeks on vacation, and would I change it? No, but I can tell you, yesterday was miserable. So if anybody's never jumped on the keto band, I love keto, and it's worked wonders for us. And I fell off the bandwagon. Still never put all the weight back on, but I put about half of it back on. So whatever, it is what it is. And so we're back on it, and it'll work again. But
we're going that direction, keto, and I think what's really going to push it over the top is seeing Ken Berry at Self-Reliance.
Oh, sure. Yeah. He spoke at, he was supposed to be in person at LFTN, but something happened last minute. And like I said, basically after day one at the workshop, I was like, okay, I can either go to the presentations or I can talk to people. So of course, you know what I chose.
Yeah.
Because I really, literally, that's what I went for, was to meet everyone. Right.
Right. And the presentations are very well documented, and
yeah.
I mean, if you want to see the presentation, you can always consume that later at some point, even if it's not a public thing. I'm sure Nicole has recordings of everything and can get those to you. So
absolutely, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about Self-Reliance is, there's going to be, I think John said they're expecting 600 people. So I mean,
I really want to go, but I can't. I can't justify another trip. Yeah,
there's things I want to see. Like if Ken's there, I want to see him speak, and Corey does too, because I think that will really just kind of. Brian Norton said that was kind of what pushed him completely over the edge, was seeing him at Jack's. It was just so powerful in person, the conviction, and it's not fake anymore when it's in your face. Like
Do you ever, so here's a question or something that I think about too. And it's a struggle because, like, okay, you look at keto, and I mean, keto works, and thousands of people, like Ken said, I think it was last week on the expert council, it might have been, that basically nobody pays anybody to promote keto. It's
Right.
just a thing that works, and it works really, really well. Actually, I think it was on the live stream Jack and John and Nicole did,
All right.
because nobody has to. And I 100%, I'm an evangelical or evangelical. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I spread the gospel of keto because it works. But at times you're still like, how can something work that is so contrary to what most doctors teach? It blows my mind because, there's always that little seed of doubt that creeps in once in a while, because you're like, I don't know how doctors will go on this tangent. I don't know how they end up recommending as many carbs as they do for somebody who's diabetic. That blows me away. I don't get that.
We were talking actually last night. Corey and I were talking that. So she's been kind of on that roller coaster since high school, like,
Yep.
and super, like, she goes all out. She posted a picture on her birthday a couple years ago after she had been 2 years paleo, and I mean, I'm looking at her going, holy fuck, how the hell did I catch that piece?
Yeah. Oh, I get it. Totally.
Like, seriously, just
Totally.
smoke show. And I'm like, not that she isn't gorgeous now, but I mean, like, wow, you're in your 30s? Holy shit. And so she did that. We've kind of dove into that. But last night we were talking when she was on Weight Watchers, when she originally lost a bunch of weight. She said, she's like, they were always promoting wraps, the healthier option, wraps.
Right.
Like, everybody skip the bread, have a wrap. Well, it's this fucking tortilla is the goddamn same thing.
All it is the same goddamn density. I bet if you weighed two pieces of bread and a fucking wrap, I bet you there's no difference, or I might be wrong.
Well, the stats would just like kind of line up.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is the difference?
That's like saying it's better to drink your full sugar Coke in a glass instead of a can.
There you go.
Makes more
there
sense.
You go. You better have Jack Daniels instead of Crown Royal.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's funny.
Yeah, because we bought some of these little tiny corn tortillas.
Oh yeah,
because we're kind of making that transition from having like tacos to having meat in a bowl.
Yes, that is a mental.
There's nothing crunchy.
No, I know.
In keto, that's
like when you quit smoking. It's not even like, I only smoked for like a year, but you hear other people, they're like, I just miss this, I missed and that's the crunch. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. And there's nothing, that was my biggest issue with paleo the whole time, was like, there's nothing fucking crunchy.
Yeah.
Like, I need some sort of texture in my mouth other than mush.
And that is tough, because like last night for supper, oh, it was so good. I ate 2 great big bowls of hamburger, and
that's what we had, hamburger.
So I made a keto sauce, which was fucking amazing. All it is, I mean, oh my God. Anyway, it's heavy cream, cream cheese, shredded cheese, and butter. And you just cook the 4 things on in a pan, and it all thickens together, and it becomes an incredible, of course, because here's the thing. I grew up eating gas station food, you know what I mean? So like, and I think that's why diners appeal to me. Like, I just love that bullshit food, because literally, I was on the road, I'd get a gas station sub or gas station nachos. So it's hard to get over, when for years you're addicted to that bright yellow cheese slime that you eat. Yeah. Anyway, so this is super tasty. You don't have to add anything to it, but it's just a little less than yellow. Now, if I'd used a real sharp cheddar, it might have been a little yellower, but it was, I ate 2 bowls of it. It was great. Nice. But like you said, everybody always asks about keto. Like, my biggest selling point is, would you rather eat the burger or the bun? And everybody, of course, says the burger, right? But the one thing you miss is like nachos, for instance. Would you rather eat the nachos or the meat, cheese, sour cream? Yeah. Well, yes, if you put a gun to my head, yeah.
We did cashew butter instead of peanut butter. Yeah. Yeah, that might be good.
So,
Michael was talking cashew butter in his peanut butter pie.
oh, I see.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I eat cashews. I love those things. But we found these. We would make our own chips. They were like almond flour. They were super expensive to make because all the ingredients were just like premium almond flours and all
Oh,
that.
I know. Yep.
And then you're eating them like you would the $2.99 box of generic chips you bought at the store, but they're like it's like a $40 package of potato crackers after you get it
Yep.
done. So
I
we used to
know.
make those, and if I could throttle my addiction to that crunchy, that's a nice little substitute. And then a lot of nuts. I used to make this shit at for a dessert that was almond butter and then a bunch of different types of nuts and seeds, and then honey and cocoa powder. So dark cocoa powder, keto
Yep.
friendly, and then mix it all up in a bowl. And then just kind of eat it like almost it's thick because that almond butter's thick.
Yeah.
And the cocoa powder is so dry and it sucks up all the moisture. It makes almost like an ice cream, but it's not cold.
Did you ever try the super coffee? Anyway, yeah, I gotta cut you off there. I thought you were done.
Oh, no.
The not super coffee.
Bulletproof coffee?
Yeah. I was drinking that for a while with coconut oil, and I really enjoyed it. But my thing on keto is within 3 or 4 days, I'm down to one meal a day again because my system's used to it, right? So I just, I rarely get hungry until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then
that's what I want to get to. One meat meal a day.
Mm-hmm.
And just fast the rest. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing like eight was it 8-16?
Yep.
So but 16 off.
It happened. So I got a shout out to Chris Dixon. That man is kicking it with keto. A couple of weeks ago, he messaged me and said, I'm going on keto. And he has just, especially the first time you do it, the weight just melts off you, right?
Yeah.
And he kept messaging me, calling me an asshole every time I'd post a meal that I ate while I was on vacation, because that's how we are with it, right?
Great time for that.
Oh yeah, it was funny, but it doesn't take long, at least for me. My system likes keto, and what I typically do, like really, I bet you, especially, so Becky and I had this discussion the other day. We find keto easier to do in the summer than in the winter, and because of the heat, I find you don't quite eat as much anyway, but there's always this downtime, and winter has this mental connection with comfort food. But
I was going to say that fall, like,
cold, stews and bread.
Cold, getting moist, like damp, going into winter, all you want to do is eat a big pot pie.
And I think there's, of course, there is something genetic going way back to our northern ancestors that, winter's coming, I need to make my ass a little fatter, because I'm not going to be able to eat, except now we can go to 7-Eleven and,
right.
McDonald's.
I've kind of peeled everything back to that. Like, I think about eating and medicine and everything about what my body actually wants. And then also just everything as we're moving forward, as we sell this place and we try to develop someplace new from raw. Yep. All I want to think about is what naturally would happen and how I interact with it. So if I do something, I don't want it. I will if I have to. Obviously, I'm not stubborn to this beyond belief, but as much as possible. But that's going to transfer all through life as far as diet, medicine, growing our food, having our animals. I want our animals to live as naturally to their natural state as they can without just being wild. And kind of go that route with it. I think it just makes sense. And then let my body kind of disconnect from everything external that's been shoved in my face and in my head and all that programming for so long, and really listen to what my body and my brain is naturally telling me needs to happen.
And it's as far as keto, like the actual physical, what you're ingesting, it's a painful, sick process to get rid of all those toxins and poisons in your body. And like, I don't want anybody to think I'm judging because I've been a fat ass my whole life. Like, there's no getting around it, right? I have eaten and, I'm just a big dude. There's no getting around it. So I'm speaking from experience and all the years and all the junk that I put in my body. And I mean, when you switch to keto, there's about it depends, right? But there's about a week where your body just starts throwing all this junk out. And, half of it is like all that extra stored the stored sugars and the stored fluids. And some of it is the nasty old toxins, because here's the one thing that not a lot of people talk about keto. To prepare for keto is difficult because you're cooking everything, right? So I won't lie. I mean, you come home and you want something quick. Well, I'll throw a toaster strudel. No, what are the little hot pocket in the oven, right? 3 minutes later, it's out in the microwave, and you're eating something that's been around the world 3 times and full of 18 different whatever, right? Whereas keto, I'm like, oh, I want to eat keto. Okay, well, down to the butcher. Well, I mean, we've got lots of meat, but the other day it was late in the day, and I had to go get some meat because I hadn't thought anything out yet. So down to the butcher shop, got 4 pounds of hamburger. Back, you got to fry up the hamburger, prepare this, chop up the salad. It's fine, and I don't mind it, especially when you're only doing it once a day. But it is a little more work. That's all.
The hard boiling eggs is our thing.
Oh yes, yeah. Cook them ahead of time.
Yeah, we'll cook like a week's worth or more on a weekend, and then if you want something, that's what you get. Like, we have nuts on hand, and hard boiled eggs and beef sticks. We found some really good keto beef sticks.
I like beef sticks.
They're you got to be careful with those because they're super expensive too. They're like $2 a piece or something stupid.
Also, a lot of that you got to check. Some of those have a lot of filler in them.
Yeah.
So I would say about if you're on the road, what in my experience at gas stations, about 75% of beef sticks are good, and there's about 25% that are like 3 or 4.
We order our specific type on Amazon and have them shipped, and they. We get them from our local. So we get grass-fed pork and grass-fed beef from the guy down the road, another farm that's right there. We also get them grass-fed lamb and chicken eggs when our chickens weren't laying this winter because we're down to 12. It's the first time we had to buy eggs in 9 years. It was ridiculous. It was the fact we got very few, and it was so cold they were all freezing. But he kind of runs them through the winter and takes care of them and has like 500 birds. So he had eggs, and we get all that stuff from him. So he gets beef sticks made with his grass-fed beef. And they're pretty fucking good. But you're talking about being a fat ass. I was telling Corey this morning, I was like, did you ever put a belt on just for show? She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I put my pants on, so I had to open a new pair of pants because my goddamn job, I was there Tuesday and didn't have time because I got home late. No, Wednesday. It was Wednesday with the after party.
Yes.
So got home and I was covered with this silty mud that from the runoff from the parking lot filled up the thing, and it brings all the silty mud in. Well, they pumped out all the water. Well, the silty mud's still mud. It's not dry yet. And I had to jump in there and work all day. So my pants were just covered in this like gray. It was just nasty. Well, I got home. I just changed my clothes real quick. And I got up the next day and I'm like, son of a bitch, I got to wear, like, I'm down to 1 pair of work pants. Like, usually I have 3, but I don't want to buy any more pants for work because I'm short timing it. Because I'm. And so I was like, shit. I had a pair that I was wearing for work around here because I try not to mix them because as soon as that diesel hits them, they're trash. Like they're just for work.
Oil pad.
So I had ones that were kind of dirty from working around here in the camper and everything. And I was like, well, I'll wear them to work today. I think I have all like computer component work and stuff. None of the dirty shit. First job, get there. Oh, will you change filters while you're here too? Crack that filter, sprays diesel all over those pants. I'm like, son of a bitch. So I have some that I was like saving to take on the road with us that are still in the plastic, ordered them on Amazon, put them in with the stuff that we were taking with. And then I was just throwing all the dirty old shit away when we were leaving.
Yep.
So I was like, well, I got to open those, whatever. I'll open a pair of those. I opened them. Well, I ordered them like 8 months ago. Been a long 8 months over winter here.
Oh yeah.
I put them on, like they fit, but they're snug. They're snug, and definitely don't need a belt so they don't fall down. But I picked up my belt and I put it in, and I put it to the loop that it would get a tight on the pants.
Yeah.
And then I backed it off one.
I understand. Yeah, I do. Yeah. So I've up until, I don't know, for the last 10 years, I've been a 4X t-shirt. So it's a big t-shirt, right? I'm a big dude anyway, and it's a 4X tall. And when I first found some of these big and tall shops, I went to them, and they're incredible because I understand when women go to stores now, women who aren't, the perfect little tiny petite size that they all, and the first time they find a store that caters to them, why they feel so damn good. Because literally my whole life, it was like, okay, what am I going to wear for shirts? Is it going to be gray, white, black? Right? That's about all you could find. And I went and I found these awesome gray graphic tees, and I was, at my biggest for sure. So then I gradually got down sizes and sizes, and so I got down to just an extra large tall, and I felt awesome. And then as the weight started creeping back on, I'm like, next time I order shirts, I got to go up a size because they're just not comfortable anymore. And it's like a kick to your butt, but yeah, it is what it is. So I've been there too, man.
Yeah, I wear those. So I wear the these button down.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sorry,
are you on call today or not?
What's that?
Are you on call today?
No, it starts on Monday morning.
Okay.
No, Monday evening.
Monday
evening. Yeah, Monday at 5. No, but I wear these. So we have similar shirts. I mean, my company's so fucking stupid. We work in parking lots in the blazing sun in Minnesota. Yep. So this is the irony of this whole thing. So they changed uniform. We used to wear this light Dickies material, light colored. They weren't so light that they showed a lot of dirt, but they were lighter. Now we went to navy blue, heavy fire retardant, button down work shirts. And then we'll have a fucking safety meeting in July about heat sickness and heat stroke and all this. And it says, do not wear heavy, dark colored clothing while working in direct sun.
I know. Ours were dark red, and the oil patch were dark red fire retardant coveralls. So what we did in the summertime is we stripped right down to our skivvies and just wore the coveralls over your underwear, and you'd still zip down. I mean, and the funny thing is if you showed up, if the wrong safety guy showed up, he'd still write you up for it because it needs to be zipped up. But I was the same guy that never wore gloves either, -40, and it drove me crazy.
Well, it's like, so you think, all right, well, it's I don't know, say 90 degrees. So you're standing in your yard at your house and it's 90 degrees.
Yep.
Now go lay on your driveway.
Oh yeah. You're going to add 15-20% to that probably.
Oh, at least. I mean, it's just the radiant heat coming from below, the sun beating on you, the ambient temperature. Like sometimes I crawl in a sump to cool off.
Oh, sure.
Because it's 6 foot underground. Like I could literally just crouch down in there, get in the shade, and your temperature drops like 15 degrees. But then you're fucking around with fumes unless you want to get your blower out and blow the shit out. So there's been stories of guys in my industry that have gone into sumps and they just
succumb. Yeah.
And sites don't even notice for like 6 hours. All of a sudden it's been 6 hours. The guy's truck's sitting there. They haven't seen him. They walk out, they look down, and he's passed out in the bottom of the thing.
So you guys don't have to test those sumps before you jump in?
Have to? Supposed to?
Do they provide you with so like in the oil patch, we had what they call it, a 3-head or a 4-head monitor. Everyone wore one on the, so because H2S will kill you at parts per million. Like,
right? Yeah,
but
we don't deal with that as much, but so here's the sticky thing. They're like $700 a piece. They're $700 a piece. So basically they said, here's a blower, regardless of testing, You need to irrigate the sump for 30 minutes before you get in and leave it on while you're in there.
Oh my God.
So
I get it, but
what do? I can tell if I'm going into a diesel one,
yeah,
ain't no fucking fumes in there. If I'm going into an E85 one, you can fucking smell it if there's fumes in there. So
okay.
with the gasoline, it is what it is. I mean, if I smell fumes at all, I blow the shit out. Like,
Sure.
I just don't care. Like, whatever. But you can tell. I mean, and pay attention to your body. Don't go diving in there and work for 20 minutes without coming up.
Yep.
Go down, loosen a bolt, come stand up, see how you feel. And like
that, yeah, that was
smart.
the thing.
Like, people survived a long time without safety regulations. Just
Yeah,
the dumb one fucking died.
That was the thing about H2S in the oil patches, that you couldn't smell it, right? A lot of it, there's some gases that come off that smell sulfur, but H2S, if it's this is the funny thing. If it's at a low, like a non-lethal concentration, you can smell it. If it's at a lethal concentration, and I'm probably wrong about this, but I want to say it was only about 1,000 parts per million. So that's like 0.1% of the air. It like instantly burns the hairs in your nostrils. You don't even know it does it. You can't smell it. And you're And then of course what happens is somebody goes in, they fall over. So then the next guy's like, shit, I got to go save him. He goes to pull him out. He falls over too. Like, it's apparently instant. So that's why we always kept scuba gear on hand, just in case we had to go in and save somebody. But
different states are different laws, and I know that some of the guys, so if they're going to go into a sump that is deeper than their waist, I think they need a tripod set up under it with a retracting harness and a second guy,
right? And that was the oil patch. We couldn't go into anything confined without a second person there.
And that's what it comes down to, is confined space, and who gets to determine what's confined and what's not.
Exactly.
Because I've asked, like I did with that startup, I wrote a lot of the safety stuff and all of that documentation because it just wasn't done, because it was a brand new company. So I had experience in it, and like the MSDS stuff, which is now, I guess, just SDS. I don't know, but like the safety data sheets and all that, like I did the binders, and because I managed that for a company before, so I had the experience. So like, oh, let's just figure it out and do it and then we eventually, I think, ended up hiring a company to come in and like revamp it all, that knew what they were doing. Mm-hmm. But the confined space is so like subjective to. There's such gray area in it, and I think it's so that they can both let the companies kind of decide how much they want to put towards it, and also fine them if they want to or not.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's kind of the laws with the compliance in the fuel industry for like retail and business accounts that have tanks and stuff. They really don't bother farmers that have like a fuel tank. There's certain regulations that are certain quantities and setups that need compliance, and some don't, but everything is so gray. And you talk to the inspectors, like you meet them on site, because they'll be there when they're doing a service call. They're just there doing an inspection, and you bullshit with them, and they're like, well, I mean, if they fix this, they give a lot of fix it tickets, and they give a lot of stuff, but really legit, if they wanted to, they could just blast them with fines left and right. I mean, they could literally show up to any gas station on any day and get fines if they wanted to, just the way the shit's written.
Yeah. I mean, I used to, when I worked in the oil patch, I got pulled over by DOT one time, or I was going along and there was a scale. Or it was an inspection. It was an inspection blitz or whatever. So I pull in, and I was fairly new, and I had my shit together. We remember we spent 3 hours the night before, because we did an inspection. It was a new rig to us, and they were always getting us to run these piece of shit rigs up north all the time. Hey, drive this, and it's not even safe. So we give it a full inspection, and the only thing we found we were missing was our insurance papers. So it ended up taking us about 3 hours of phone calls to get the insurance papers for this oil rig. So I was feeling pretty good. The only thing we had on the truck were some stickers. They were like 8-foot 6x6s. There was about 3 of them. And I had 4 ratchet straps, the big, wide, thick, industrial ratchet straps rated for thousands of pounds, right? So I pull in, the guy looks everywhere, can't find any deficiencies. Finally, he looks at my ratchet straps. I mean, 1 ratchet strap would have held them down all day long, and I had 4 on there. And he says, well, 1's missing a tag, so it's not certified, so it's not good. And I'm like, oh my God. Hey, Scrappy's dad.
How are you guys?
Good. Oh yeah, it was miserable.
We're spanning the West Coast here, from Minnesota to the Pacific Ocean, where waves of grain.
Seems like we could write a song about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's something. I think I've heard one like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably God Bless America. I don't know the word now. But yeah,
I go open the windows. I'm kind of in the dark. Oh God!
I sent both you guys messages. Tim responds right away. Brian's like, "I'm laying in bed. I got to put clothes on and stuff."
I slept for 12 hours.
That's fantastic.
Sunday's my sleep-in day. I can't wait. Yeah, it'll be good.
I'm such an asshole. It was my brother's 50th birthday party last night. I was supposed to go to Beastie Boys with them, but holy shit. Driving 36 straight hours, it was scrappy and just rolling hot. You know what? I left it all on that goddamn field for float.
Who's with Beastie Boys now? Was it Mike D died, didn't he?
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
it's not real Beastie Boys, right? It's Beastie Boys tribute band at the. It's a good show place, but not. I mean, it wasn't about the music. It was just about going down a roll and having fun with them. But
gotcha.
God damn, man. The festivals are so insane. People are
a different vibe.
Until you've rolled a festival you don't know. I was thinking about it all day yesterday, right? And because I try to take notes so I can do the festival so much better next time. But I've never been to a festival in my entire life by myself. Never.
Really?
Never. I always have rolled with so many people to do a crazy thing or whatever, or at least my wife, right? Candace and I tour. We love to tour. But responsibilities and whatever. So, and I had made a commitment to Aaron that I was going to do it. Fuck. It took so much out of me.
What is it that it takes out of you? Like, is it like interacting or just being up all the time, or what is it?
Yeah, psychically. I was the second person on the field and like one of the last to leave. You get to see the whole event, like go from a farmer's field to a village. And like, God, there's so many stories I could tell you of the helpingness and the like friendliness and the communication. Fuck, just seeing like 6 or 7 companies start like in my
yeah.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter who you were coming into there. You were all just there together and being people.
That was it. Yeah. It was just a Bedouin like tent in the stormy, windy desert, and people came and like just sat on the rugs. I had Dr. Andy Kaufman in there like every day. He loved the fucking coffee, and his kid loved it. And
that's cool shit.
So he would just chill, and the patients would come up and want to talk to him, and he'd have to go talk in private, so he'd go away for a while. But so yeah, so I made a space. That's what I really thought about yesterday all day. What did I do there? I made a space for people to connect. Last year I tried to feed people. That was needed. This year, Joe had it. Meat Man was down. So he had that handled. So that's what I was doing, was making a space for people to interact and to do things with each other. The more I stayed out of the way of it, the better things went. That video that Jack put out yesterday where he was showing the kid how to use the Lightning Network, he was literally like, a foot and a half behind me. I reached around and filled his coffee cup. I don't know if you saw it on the side.
I love the shout out to Sal at the end. That was priceless.
Oh, did he shout Sal out?
He goes, he does the whole
first.
transaction, and they always have the Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin thing going on, so he does the transaction, and right at the end before it cuts off, he's like, "Hi, Sal."
That's funny. Okay, so I had Jack scheduled for it was so windy. He had bought a coffee for $5 and we were going to pay on Lightning. I was going to do the same thing. He's going to show me how to install it in a non-windy camper. But that morning was when I lost all my electric cords and I raved so hard the night before. Just there was an explosion in camp. Where's my shit?
There is something about this was my first event, so I mean we've never been to an in-person meetup of like-minded people.
You touched the corner of an iceberg. How do you feel?
It was so we're still like, I mean, we're fucking 4 days back and we're still feeling it. Like yesterday was the worst. It's funny, the first day we come back and we had all the energy in the world. Then the next day it was like bad, and then yesterday was fucking miserable. We were just like, that I think you're right. It's that it's just everything, right?
It's a psychic, like, and it was because you were so.
I won't lie. I would venture to say that LFTN was one of the 5. I don't know. I don't want to say the greatest moments of my life, but it was fucking incredible. I've never experienced anything like it. There was only 75 people there, and this entire week, like, I just spent all day yesterday following up with people that I met that are going to be on the show now, right?
Oh, I haven't even started the pen and paper, like trying.
Oh yeah, no, but
names and we'll be on the show. Fuck yeah, like, oh my god.
I would say because I'm fucking awful at this.
You gotta take pictures.
I could meet you right now. I mean, I know you two, but I could meet you right now, and 5 minutes later, forget your name. I'm so bad. I'm like, write names down in subject lines. And I have seen so much this week in our how do you want to put it, in our background channels of people, everything that came completely out of LFTN, all the in-person contacts, right? Yeah. It's awesome. I love it. And I love seeing other people take Yep.
This question probably goes to you because like we don't know, but you got a reusable pour over filter you like?
If you're gonna do pour over, get the Melita porcelain. You get a Walmart for $10. The deal is they're heavy. That is the thing that you want. It's a heat sink. So when you pull off your boiling water, you start pouring it over there. It's not really boiling water because it falls through the air, so it hits it at about 104, or 204, which is what it's supposed to do, right? But then the heat goes into the porcelain slowly, then it really takes the coffee grounds down to like 190s, 198, 199, like right where just ideal.
Yeah, I hit mine with 200 out of the kettle in my French press. After I preheat my French press with hot tap water, so it's close. Then I heat the water to 200 in the kettle and drop it on there. So I'm in that ballpark. I mean, I buy that premium coffee. I want to make it right.
Well, so Aaron came down the first day from Float. So I made this Float Fast blend. Again, I didn't write it fucking down.
One of a kind.
Yep.
I know what it was, kind of, sort of, pretty fucking close. I can reproduce it. But yeah, she loved it. She's like, fucking A. It turned out I never do 4-bean blends. I surprised myself. It's really good. I'm loving it. So there's only 10 bags left in the fucking world. 11, but I just claimed that one. But I know
somebody that might have some.
Yeah. So I'll get so you claim a couple, and then I'll get hey, if you're out there and you're hearing this and you're in the coffee club, if you got a low number, hit me a PM that you want it, or if you got whatever number, hit me you want it, and when I get to the 10th, then we'll cut it off, right? And then it's fair.
Do you know what number I am off the top of your head?
Candace has the book upstairs. I don't want to wake her up. Yeah, there's an actual book, like a paper-bound book, and then we have an emergency backup set of index cards.
Nice.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
You guys are awesome. I just love it. I love everything about it.
If the house burns down, grab the fucking firebox. It's got the cards in it.
Got all the important documents: the coffee club, the birth certificates, the social security cards,
passports,
The pepper in me.
money.
fuck
The prep
passport
for
didn't
me
fit.
says pictures of it, right?
Index cards.
You sound like the mafia. Yeah, we got 2 sets of books. This paper book and this paper book. And
You are allowed to have 2 sets of books.
I know.
Legally.
yeah.
Accounting is the story that you tell at the end of the year. You want to tell your internal stakeholders the story of the power of the company, right?
Yeah.
And you want to tell the IRS how fucking shitty you are at managing money.
100%. It feels weird because we do the same thing up here. Like at the end of the year, I'm like, fuck, I had a really good year. And then when you look at it on paper, when you send it in and you're like, Jesus Christ, I spent a lot on expenses.
It was the funniest part of accounting class when they got to that keeping the second part of books. They had to like actually spend a whole fucking day convincing you it was legal.
Yeah, it is hard. And even we're like 5 years into business and we do our books, and every year you're like, I don't know, you just always feel like you're not doing anything wrong, but it's still like that's the cool thing about having a business.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah,
and it feels so weird. Like, you know how Jack says, I think he talks about having a business, and he's like, when you own a business, how does it work? You make the money, then you spend the money, and you're taxed on what's left. And it's taken me so long to twist that around in my brain, because for years you make the money, you tax the money, you spend what's,
and get taxed on what's left.
Yeah.
If people want to like understand that and know kind of where that came from, an easy read. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Later come out to be a fiction, but
it's no less powerful.
No less powerful.
I think if he'd wrote it like an allegory, if he'd have said, "Hey, this is a modern take on what's the one that Jack, there's, whatever." Yeah. But if he'd have said it was an allegory, I don't think he would have had any. Yeah.
It was interesting because I was it was funny. I set up my little Bedouin tent. What am I really doing? I'm out there fucking teaching, right? Crypto and agorism and all this stuff. And it's so funny. Like Nicole and Stanley were homeless, right? They parlayed up to that house in the HOA. That fucker's for sale right now for $445,000. He's gonna go buy himself a giant slice of northern Michigan, right? Because as soon as he got that concept. So there was.
I loved your take on what was his name that had the lasers down there with you.
Noah.
Yeah, I loved your take on him, that he wasn't there selling anything. He was there teaching, and that's what he wanted to do. And the selling the shit is a byproduct. It's just like.
And Phoenix is the artist, right? And he's the same fucking way. He makes your art to order because it takes him 5-10 minutes, right? So he's got you for 5 or 10 minutes. You can't escape. You're going to interact with him. And when you walk away, you're going to have some nugget of free market-ness.
So how did you set up your taking crypto payments there? Did you set up like a QR code with your addresses, or
I didn't do shit and it was horrible.
Hold on, Brian.
Yeah, I gotta run. So I know. I love. I had 1 hour. My boy's here, and we are off to do a job.
Tell your boy.
Yeah, I'm loving this, but I got to go do other world shit too, right? So
I got about a half hour left if you want to stick around, Brian. Talk about a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't want to jump out on you, but I just seen him on the cameras. He's here, and I got to go.
So. We'll see you on the after party.
All right, man.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye, Tim. Oh shit, I love it.
So how did you roll with your crypto payments?
So Joe
and addresses and stuff.
I keep calling him Joe. I think so. The Meat Man, Kill to Grill. Him and I were like the main vendors, right? And the float bar. So I was third base. He was first base. The float bar was second.
Right.
And Alex was home plate. And like the bar, I knew wasn't going to take fucking visa. Period. Right. So him and I were like the vendors of sustenance. Right. So we were going to get hit more than anybody else. So if we cracked and whipped out our visa machines, so would everybody else. So early, he came trotting over. We'd have little 5-second powwows, meeting of the minds. That's all it took. And he's like, bitch wants to use a visa machine. I was like, fuck that. I'm not digging mine out. He just winked. That was it. That was the whole conversation. We shut the visa out of float.
Yeah, if you can find something, hey, I got Cash App.
I know. I go, dude, there's so many other things. There's so many, like, literally, the person standing next to him, they could, like, do something and get trades, anything, and fucking hand you money. So, yeah. And I'm like, worst case scenario, there's ATMs down the fucking road. It's 4 miles. You can go get money.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. So we, on our trip out to Squatch or the way back, I can't remember which it was, we lost our tire cover on the back of our trailer.
Yeah.
So I'm considering, I'm going to make one. I got to make one.
With the QWERTY code so people driving by can just send you fucking money. Oh, my God. Yes.
Well, the QWERTY code's going to go to the page on, like,
of all the
so I have a Happy Hills page, right, and then I have Lots Project and Baby Walter. So I have this Happy Hills page that I'm not sure what I want to do with. So right now on my business card, I have a QWERTY code, QR code, fuck it, it's easier to say, that goes to find us on socials page. Right. That's on my business card.
And then you
can scan that and it brings up Corey's socials, my socials, whatever. I'm thinking about putting that same thing on the tire with our names around the outside and the big ass code in the middle, but also put crypto payment addresses there. And all our links and all our info on that one landing page for both sides.
Because people were trying to pay me, right? And it's a festival. Like, all my shit was out the whole time. Like, boxes of Baofeng radios, brand new, in the box. Like, fucking, I don't know. The cannabis stuff, a lot of. So there's a lot of money laying around everywhere. Yep. I don't even, like, put a fucking tarp on my shit when I go roving, because, you know, it's a festival. Every human there is there, like, to share, and usually brought more stuff than they need.
They're consciously there to participate, not to fuck somebody over.
Right.
And if you're going there, you're going to get outed. Like,
right,
the meat guy standing across is going to kind of glance over and see somebody going through your shit and be like, who the fuck is that?
Right. It's
you build those relationships with your neighbors. I think that's a lot about campgrounds too. And
campgrounds are the same feel, but you can have bad actors slip in much easier.
Right. I'm just saying that there's this community at campgrounds that I've seen. Like, we don't want to stay at campgrounds, and it's not necessarily festival. This is just like Saturday weekend at Happy Hickory Hills Campground.
And usually the people that rob camps are coming. They come in, rob the campground. They in and out. They don't stay.
Yeah. So if they have a controlled entrance, the people that are there are going to watch your shit. Your neighbors are going to meet you when you pull in. Hey, John, how's it going? And maybe you don't interact the whole time, but they're looking over going, you know, when I met them, it was the two of them and their 3 dogs. Who's this jerk off, like, going through the back of their truck?
Yeah. Why is that guy walking out of there with that camp stove?
That doesn't make sense. Hey, did you ask them if you could borrow? Whoa, wait, I don't know. And I think it's just that it's not necessarily that they're doing it; it's that they could be doing it.
They could.
Like, thieves aren't stupid. Like, they might be dirty motherfuckers, but they aren't. They aren't going to go somewhere where it's purposely going to be watched.
Right. So festivals. You know, and the interesting thing was. I don't know if it's just because I'm so like entheogenic medicine, right? Outspoken. But I didn't even hear of any blow. Like, the blow crowd wasn't there this year.
That's not a bad thing.
No, it's fucking. I love it. It's more pure.
Well, you said something. You said something on one of your broadcasts. I think it was one of your weekly, your afternoon podcast. Was everything manufactured speeds you up, and everything natural calms you down.
Yeah. Okay. So cannabis, entheogenic medicines work with you, right? So if it's hard to say. They're having a conversation with you. So if you tell them what you want when you're using them, it will give you what you want. Or unless you're in a panic state, right? Like, oh my gosh, don't do this. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I'm going to get, right? And then you do it. And then sure enough, what is it?
What is it? The setting and mindset?
Set and setting is usually like with the drug, the amount of the drug, right? And with you, and then the set and the setting, right? It's all like,
it was like Timothy Leary. Timothy Leary? Is that he went down all that road?
Oh God! Now that you said that, I'm gonna like flake names because he just died and he's fucking the dude. Terrence McKenna. So Terrence McKenna was an ethnobiologist who had like, fuck the government. He had the only license there was to like do any plant, whatever. Like he documented it heavily and wrote about them all and all the nuances of what they would do and yada yada. So his brother, who wasn't really into it himself so much, is starting Terrence McKenna Retreat Center for psychedelic research down in like Peru or somewhere down there. I know there was a haggle that had to get hashed out with the government so that they were basically their own state inside the state where they could do whatever,
like Vatican City.
Yeah, it's like that. All those rules had to get worked out, right? Because what if somebody goes down, has a crazy trip, and dies? Then the family's gonna fucking sue them, and then blah 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 blah.
Well, the government let me do it.
It's gonna be big enough to be a business with like big structures and assets, right? So since they live in the real world, they got to deal with the fucking monsters. But anyway, it's happening. But he did a lot of stuff. Psychedelic stuff is about to just explode on the world. It's just it's gotten so shitty, and it's just there was a lady that spoke at Float. I don't know if you guys can. I haven't even gone back on Float yet, even to thank those guys. They really crashed for 2 days. It was just poof. There's a lady and her hubby that lived in the rainforest for a couple of years at least that came out, and she gave a great talk. And it's so funny, after they were done, right? All I could think about was like, so you go all that way, and there you are. Right? It's like,
what was it? There's a book that a shrink gave me one time that was called "Wherever You Go, There You Are."
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think I've heard of that. Right, so that was in my subconscious.
It was the oddest book. I had 2 books that I got recommended from that. Like, I had a really cool shrink in college that kind of just got it. She was like, "You don't need to be seeing me, but if you want to come and talk, you can come and talk." And we just bullshit. And she was not about any. She wasn't going to put you on fucking meds unless you actually needed it, and she just wanted to. She was doing research, I think, like not formally, but she was just building research in her head. But yeah, she gave me that, and then another buddy gave me one called "Happiness is a Serious Problem" by Dennis Prager. Okay. And that was another book that kind of tripped me out and made me really step back and gets you out of your own head. Like, it says, you're upset because you got a flat tire. Like, flat tire, like, it just happens. Like, nobody's out to get you, blah, blah, blah. You're going to have flat tire days. And it was just kind of an analogy for everything. Like, there's shit that just fucking happens. So get over it. Stop letting it ruin more moments of your life than, like, you're late for work. Big fucking deal. Everybody's late for work every once in a while. Don't let it stress you out. Don't let it make you upset, and just move on with your day.
Okay. So you got that far. Okay, now just drive it 180 degrees further. think about every fucking day you made it to work on the tire that's showing threads because you're like, change tomorrow. Like, oh no. You start being grateful for all the like bullshit you get. Like, oh fuck, come on.
Well, I look at it every day,
Weight
as much
limit,
as I
pal.
drive for a living, every day I roll back into my driveway, I'm like, okay, well, I get to spend one more night with Corey and the dogs because when I roll out of that driveway every morning, I see some weird, like I've literally seen cars dive off the highway, hit the, the expandable cables in the center, hit it and catapult it up and flip over and land on its tires facing oncoming traffic in a 70-mile-an-hour zone while I was working. If that cable hadn't been there, that dude would have hit me head on. So, like, I understand that anytime I leave this house at this moment in my work van and drive hundreds of miles a day, I might not come home. And so the fact when I roll into that driveway that I have that understanding is I walk inside and that's the time I got again.
Well, dude, I was trying. Okay, so at the end of my corporate bullshit, that last year I did 256 days on the road. That's a different airport every other night or so with a different rental car in all 50 states in every fucking. I couldn't. No, sorry, there's a hurricane. Like, nope, no conventions there. Gotta go.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
fuck.
yeah. It changes your perspective. So.
Yeah, knock, knock. 4 million miles. Never an insurance claim. Fucking never. I can drive anything with wheels.
Yeah. I go the speed limit. I piss people off. Well, I'm GPS tracked, so if I'm 2 miles an hour or more over the speed limit for 3 minutes, it sends a fucking email to my boss. So I don't know who would ever think of this, but sometimes I just go 4 miles an hour over for 5 minutes just to fucking clog his email box.
Like, and then back down, and then you're like, yeah, we just cycle it. Oh my god.
My coworker told me the other day, he's like, "Did you know that these fucking vans govern out at 92?"
Yeah, if you're gonna
because
get email,
the GPS recorded me at 98, but I looked it up on Google and it's a 92 mile an hour governor. I just like, I don't need that in my life, man. I don't need them calling me, asking me why I was going over 90 miles an hour in my service van.
You gotta be like, oh, that's when I would be like, that's surely a fucking glitch. Are you kidding me?
Look at the last 4 years, man. I barely go over the speed limit.
You're like, go look up the limit of whatever the fucking computer program is. I bet that's it.
Well, that's what he told him. He's like, well, it has to be wrong because the internet says that the governor only go to 92, so it must have been a glitch. My favorite was, so where you plug it in, it's in the, like, it's the same place you plug in the reader for the codes and shit under the DAT or like under the steering wheel. Yeah. In my old van, my knee would hit it all the time, so it would knock it out and it would beep. And it would only beep for like 3 minutes and then it would just stop beeping. So I just leave it for 3 minutes. And then the next day or 2 days later, hey, your GPS isn't working. Is it not plugged in? Oh, shit. Plug it in again.
Oh, it's hanging out. Here, I'll tap it in.
Yeah, they're having, I mean, everybody's talking about supply chain issues and all this shit and food and all that. Like, for the last 2 years, we haven't been able to get computer boards, and now we're not able to get service vans. Like, our company's buying up. So we had through Enterprise, we got like a rolling order of service vans because we know approximately how many miles they're going to go and when they
Are they delivering you the empty shell van that just can't run, or just no van at all?
No van at all. They canceled all our 2023 orders.
That's funny.
So they're scrambling to get
here because
they're scrambling to get the new vans, and he's buying everything he can find. He's buying like diesel fucking Mercedes service vans and all sorts of whatever he can find. Because
when you drive down to Oregon, there's a couple mile stretch of white trucks just because they got to come off the boats. They got to get them off the boats, so they just stick them down there and they're waiting. They are the ones waiting for the chips.
Yep.
I see them. That's funny. Some people have started taking them. So they'll just take like, no, send the 10, vans. And when the chips come, send them here. So they know they're going to get the vans.
Right.
Because think about
They're
what
not going to
happens.
cancel the order or pull them
Yeah,
out.
they are, and then they're going to have a fucking reverse lottery, and that truck's going to go to the highest bidder. It'll be $100,000 van.
Yeah, it's getting crazy. Like, we get lead times on gas pump boards.
So think about
6, 8, 10 weeks. I mean, it used to be like 2 days.
Think of the hockey stick, right? When people were talking about Weimar, when you're taking like $1 billion into wheelbarrows to buy bread, and then you say fuck it and just burn it halfway there to stay warm. Because all Ford canceled all the you can't buy Mustangs anymore, like all that shit. We remember.
Well, that's a good thing because those things were butt ass ugly.
They're shit, but whatever. So they're hybrid, right? They'll go 50 miles a gallon. $5 a gallon. It's going to be $10 a gallon. So the 50 mile a gallon thing is going to be really helpful. But so they canceled all those orders. They're canceling all the forward orders, right? Boom. Now there's no price for the cars anymore. Now what do you want to pay?
Right.
Bam.
Yep.
So that's when the hockey stick goes fucking vertical, right? Because the people that have been just shoveled money, whatever. They're worth the fucking $100 million. They just by the price.
You want to know something hilarious? So Jack was talking about back when everybody was making a run on all the grains and everything, and they asked him, and he was like, I didn't want to say it on air, but I told him, like, go to the feed mill, go to the brewer supply store, this or that. So
yeah,
for like the last year and a half, we've had a filter shortage in the gas industry, gas pump filters.
Yeah.
Diesel pump filters. So we couldn't get them. They were like on 8-week back order, 10-week back order, 6-month back order, this and that. So gas stations are going longer than they should. They're having slow flow issues, all this shit.
That's why shit's all slowing down. Yeah.
You want to know where you can get the same filters that go on a gas pump? I had a mom and pop customer just started buying them at fucking Napa.
Oh, just like they're the same filter.
They cross-reference them. They're the same fucking just paper filter.
Coming out of the same plant. Oh, that's
probably.
So just
probably just like the brewer's store for the grain. Like, it's the same fucking grain. It's just packaged different in a different location under a different name.
Right. Oh,
yeah. So this mom and pop guy's like, he looked at the filter and he's like, "Fuck, I think I bought one of those for my tractor." And he goes to Napa and he's like, "Hey, can you cross-reference this number for me?" The guy's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you have any?" He's like, "Yeah, I got like 4 cases in the back." He's like, "Yeah, I'll take them."
You stash them.
Yep.
That's so funny. Instead of paying you guys, a mom and pop store doing their own filters. Oh my god.
Well, I was thinking about doing a video series on shit that mom and pop owners could do, then sell it for like the price of 2 or 3 service calls, like changing filters and doing inspections and changing a nozzle or changing the hose and shit like that, and just film a video doing it and then put the course together, sell it to gas station owners for, $5,000, because it'll save you at least 3 trips a year doing it yourself. And our rollout is like, anywhere from $50 to, the biggest trip charge I've ever seen. I went 3.5 hours away from my house for $550 trip charge.
Just for the truck.
Just to get me to go to the site was $550, and then we bill out at $108 an hour, I think.
Jeez. Yeah, that's like tick, 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 tick.
Plus the overcharged filters, the overcharged hoses, where you could just order this shit direct and buy my video and do all your filter changes. If you got a drive off where they just pull the hose, I'll show you how to redo it, put it back together, all that shit, and sell it for like $5,000 a pop.
Go to the shows, yeah. No,
not even. I think I would just drop a business card at every gas station I stopped at.
Yeah, just traveling around, like, check this out, save a shit ton.
Just do it once, just make it once and have it available online, and just drop cards everywhere I go to every gas station. And that's just what it is. Like, I don't do anything with it after that. It's just set up once and done, and then have the advertising for it.
Yeah, evergreen, right? Yeah, shit, and then it's evergreen content, and then you got to do the whole Paul Wheaton thing, right? Just push it out, just
Yeah.
everybody to put it on their channels. I'll throw a link on my channel.
Yep. So
Link,
I don't know.
Link.
It's
People
just a matter of getting it done. I got so much fucking shit I'm doing right now. It's like, and it's also a liability thing. Like, I would have to cover my fucking ass so hard because the first time somebody takes a filter off and doesn't shut the valve and gets sprayed in the face with gasoline, now he's blind.
Oh, because he hasn't depressurized it. Yeah. Well,
I would have to be like, you need to wear a safety shield, you need to wear gloves, you need to do this, and like prevent all that shit. So
this is a PPE. Well, it would have video, right?
Yeah.
You'd be
of how I did it.
See the gloves and the safety mask.
Yep. Like, not do the shortcuts that I know are safe because I know I followed all the steps. Like, do the moron-proof videos.
Yeah, you'd have to like have it be classroomy.
Yeah. So it's tough. Like, it's tough, and I got to find a time. Like, I know the lady at the end of the road that owns the gas station would let me come off the clock and do all the filming and all that stuff.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I'll give you a free service. Let me
not even. I wouldn't even have to say that. Like, I would just say, hey, you want to buy some filters from Napa, and I'll change them, and I'll just film it on a Saturday afternoon.
Boom. Yeah, that's fucking great. Be a service. Well, okay. Hey, did the super cheap lowball guys come and lowball your house?
I haven't heard from him. I got to send him a text message.
Oh, the cash now house buy guys.
Yeah, he came by. He came by and looked at it, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll get back to you at the beginning of the week." And that was the beginning of the week was the beginning of this week. So I got his number. I got to shoot him a text message.
They try to sell it before they even have it.
Probably.
So yeah, he's already trying to sell it for sure.
Well, he wants to flip it.
No, I guarantee you he's actively working, trying to sell it right now. If he thought it was at all possible, right? And then if he's got a deal, kind of like somebody wants to come see it, he'll probably get a little hotter on getting back to you.
Right. Yeah, I was just gonna text him and be like, "So, not interested? Should I just move on, or what's going on?" And that's fine. I got so much shit to do. I got a birthday party I got to go to this afternoon for my little 3-year-old nephew.
Yeah, 3-year-olds are fun.
I gotta put new floor in the camper. Yesterday, I put new steps in the camper.
I heard the steps are in. Yeah,
the steps are in. Yeah, I got those in. They
were
the
nice. Dogs too big, or were you too big for the old steps?
We broke them. So on our way back from squad,
hitting a thing.
Well, they're the flip out ones.
Yeah.
Underneath the real bouncy and everything. So we were on our way back from Squatch, and I pulled it out. We were at a BLM land, and I pulled them out, and we were in the camper, and I walked out, and one of the little pipes that they slide on to go in and out rusted through. I stepped on that fucking step and right out to the parking lot. It was like hanging sideways.
Dude, you could have killed your knee.
I could have killed myself.
Yeah, your knee would have just
So we just kind of bungee cord that back up together and we have 2 doors, so we used the other.
Beefy, like beefier.
This one actually folds up into the camper.
Oh,
into the door, and then it comes out and it's ground contact. The other ones were just suspended. This one actually has extendable legs that it's a 5th stabilizer jack for the camper. So and they're full treads, and they have like tread tape on them. I think if they're wider, they're almost as wide as the door instead of the little camper steps.
Oh, pups can go up them then, right?
Well, yeah, if we need to, we have a ramp for them that goes into the back. But if they, for some reason, the ramp breaks or whatever, we'll be able to, I think, take them up these steps if we have to. But I got video footage. I gotta put videos together. My video editor crashed last night. It was like doing this weird shit where it would play 5 seconds super fast and then stop, and then all of a sudden it would play 10 seconds super fast. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? No audio. And I'm like, I just gotta close this shit and open it tomorrow and see what the hell's going on with it. I couldn't deal with it, but yeah, I got videos of taking it out of the box, installing it, taking the old steps off, all sorts of videos to put up. So
that's awesome.
It's great now that I have internet that I can upload videos. I mean, the internet we had in our house before I got this camper internet was, to upload a 10-minute video was like 4 hours of
Was it
time.
on phone wire? Like old phone?
Old phone wire.
It's so slow, so slow.
But anyway, I got to get going. I got to get shit done before I head out. I appreciate you guys hopping on.
Here, I'll bust out, and you can do all the. There you go. There's the leave button. Okay, yeah, I'll bust out. Do the selling stuff. Woo!
All right, man. Thanks.
Bye.
Later. Oh yeah, so man, it's good to have friends. I got some great friends, some great content creator friends. I sent out a message, and bam, I had 2 guys on just to bullshit for going on an hour and a half. So man, that's great. I really appreciate Tim jumping on, Brian jumping on. Always like chatting with those guys. So yeah, it is. I hope everything's all right with Brian Wells, and everything works out. But hey, it just it didn't happen today. So hey, we made it work. I will get this audio up. It's decent audio, I think. We didn't really do anything visual, so that'll be a good podcast. One last thing here, man, order your comfrey, order your coffee, order your yoga pants, your logo gear. Head on over to babywalterandcompany.com and check out what Corey's got going on over there. Check out my shop, see if you want to pick up anything. I got some stuff going on, working on some different things, and I'm really excited about it. So anything you can do there to help support us is great. And any Amazon links you ever see in the show notes or video descriptions from me always helps out, because you're going to go shop at Amazon anyway. So hey, give us a little kickback on what you buy for no added cost. Yeah, comfrey. Get it in the ground. It is a fantastic plant. We talked about it at the beginning of this episode. Hey, it's been a great Saturday morning. I got a bunch of shit to go do. I got a bunch of stuff to get figured out this weekend, get rolling. And like I said, I got a birthday party to go to this afternoon. So that should be kind of fun. You can always find me at thelotsproject.com, Float, Twitch, Telegram, YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble, Gab, Facebook, Instagram, Fountain.fm, or any other Podcast 2.0 podcast player. Guys, I appreciate you hanging out. I know it was a little impromptu change up. I enjoyed it. I had a good time, and that's all we can ever ask to do. So have a great weekend. Make it productive. Catch back up with you on Monday morning.